Hey there, it's me, Dex, checking in with another Truth Bomb. So today, the Truth Bomb, I'm going to try and keep it short. I know you've had a lot of mental work to deal with this week, and it can be quite overwhelming at times, right? But here is the Truth Bomb that I want to share with you that is actually really, really vital to internalize and keep coming back to and remembering over and over and over and over again, okay? And it's this: success comes from process. Success comes from process. You've heard me already say this like several times during the program, but I'm hoping that you're already starting to come to see just how true that is, and that actually success is an outcome of doing something else, right? In other words, there's cause and there's effect. There's process and there's success. And in the middle of that ground, somewhere between process and success, is progress, right? Process leads to progress, leads to success. Say it again. Process leads to progress, leads to success. A lot of people put their emphasis and their energies in focusing just on, well, shit, this isn't happening for me yet, and why is it taking so long? And I'm doing everything it takes in order to make these bloody things happening. I'm waking up early, I'm staying up late, and I'm doing all these things. Well, look, that may be the case, but maybe you're not involved in a specific process that would bring about that outcome. And as you've hopefully started to realize during our time together, there are a lot of things about yourself and about what trips you up and what kind of pulls you down and what it would take to lift you up that actually up to now you've not been fully aware of. Remember, ESP, if you can't be exact, specific, and precise, if you can't give something a definition, this word means this thing and this is how I get it, or this word means this thing and this is what gets in the way of it. If you can't actually come up with a recipe for that, you are by definition banned and barred and kind of restricted and limited in your ability to create any form of meaningful process. If you can't create the process, then you're going to have an impact on progress. And if you're not making progress, obviously success is out of the window. So it doesn't matter that you've been doing something for 3 years, 6 years, 9 years, 10 years, 12 years, whatever it happens to be, right? The amount of time that you're engaged in something is no indicator whatsoever of whether or not you're going to achieve anything. And I think you're already realizing that, right? Some of you have been in the coaching and personal training industries for a really, really, really long time. And you're saying, well, I'm kind of earning the same money that I was earning last year and the year before and the year before, and the same shit and the same problems and the same obstacles and everything is showing up. Hopefully now you're starting to understand why. Because again, until you actually understand, you have a clear definition for the things that are going on in your life and the things that can trip you up and the things that you're trying to feel and all that kind of stuff, right? Until you have really, really clear definitions for that, and then you have really clear definitions for what goes into the ingredients of that, and then you have a clear process to say, okay, if my job is not so much about trying to earn 10K this year, but to be the kind of person who is happy, upbeat, powerful, energetic, and all these things, what are the processes that I need to be engaged in order to be that person so that I can have that thing at the other end? And I'm hoping this is really making a lot of sense to you. I'm hoping it's starting to resonate. I don't for 1 second underestimate the amount of challenge and the amount of emotion and feeling that some of this work brings up. I really, really do get it. And in fact, what you may not realize is that as you're going through these exercises, I'm going through them too. Okay, and I'm meeting some of my resistances, and I'm seeing where actually my current definition isn't as upgraded, as up to date as it needs to be. That's a definition maybe I did a year ago or 18 months ago. I'm going, I need to bring that definition up to speed. And that's the second part of this, and this is why we focus on excellence and not on perfection, because this is going to be your life's work. Like, you're going to be continuously updating and upgrading, and excelling, right, as opposed to perfecting. Excelling, surpassing and going beyond your previous definitions. And as you go past your previous definitions, you're going to go past your previous standards and your processes, right? And they're going to get updated and upgraded. And this is how we live the excellent life, right? But it is so vital for you to start releasing some of the tension and some of the anxiety and some of the fear and some of the frustration and some of the despair and some of the apathy and everything else that gets caused by not seeing your goals achieved and reached, right? Because you seem to have spent a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of energy trying to reach them. And instead, release that and come back to saying, all you've got to do on a day in, day out basis from this point forward is say, what is the process that I'm engaged in right now? Is it bitching, whining, moaning, doing something that's going to bring my energy down, doing something that's going to create a different recipe in me, a kind of a feeling of not good enough, or a feeling of overwhelm, a feeling of frustration, a feeling of whatever the fuck it is, right? And instead of doing that, you say, you know what? I've caught myself. I can see that I've actually just started to assemble some ingredients for misery here. I need to stop going shopping for those ingredients. I need to stop that right now and go out shopping for some of the other ones, some of the feelings that I really, really want to feel. Okay. And again, it's a process. It doesn't have to happen immediately, but it is and always will be a cause and effect process, right? Cause and effect. The more you focus on assembling the causal factors of any emotion, any feeling that you want to feel, the more you must have that as an effect in your life. It doesn't work any other way, right? And so the good news, bad news part of this, right, is that the good news is that that's how powerful it is, and it always works every single time. As long as you apply that principle, those principles will work for you. The flip side, the bad side of that, if you want to call it that, right, the challenging side, is that what you are experiencing right now, if you are experiencing overwhelm, if you are experiencing frustration, if you're experiencing sadness, and any of those kind of things, then you have created it by assembling the recipe pieces, right? You've assembled the ingredients. You are engaged in a process of misery, right? And that might not sound too good to be kind of on the receiving end of that, right? But it's not disempowering when you really think about it. It makes you extremely powerful. And this goes way, way, way beyond the idea of positive thinking and happy clappy and it's all going to work out in the end. And instead of focusing on how can I pretend to be happy when I'm not, and without kind of being out of integrity with myself, suppressing and repressing feelings, instead you can say, okay, I've been engaged in a process of making myself miserable, of making myself anxious, of doing this, right? What do I need to do to flip that, engage myself in a process of whatever the new emotion or feeling or experience of life you want to have for yourself is going to be. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that's resonant, and I hope that's kind of got the kind of the brain cells ticking over just a little bit, so that you can kind of, you know, this is not one of those things that are going to sink in once, even if intellectually you get it. Even if you go, Dax, you know what? Wow, that makes so much sense to me. Thanks so much. It doesn't mean that tomorrow you're just going to automatically engage in processes, right? What it actually means is that you're going to actually continue with the awareness of changing some of these things, right? It means that you're going to say, I've just found myself digging a hole, right? And on my third shovelful, I was just going down and, wow, I need to change that, and I need to go in the other direction. I need to fill the hole back in again, right? So don't beat yourself up too much if, like, after coming to these awarenesses and these realizations, you suddenly find yourself going down the same path again. Again, that's perfectionist thinking, right? I've uncovered this. Why the fuck am I making that mistake again? Versus the excellence thinking, which is, wow, I caught that a lot earlier than I normally do. Wow, that didn't get as bad as it normally gets. Wow, it didn't last as long as it normally lasts. And that's the importance of understanding your relationship with the processes, right? And I know, you know, I've said the same thing about, like, basically this entire video I could have probably said in about 30 seconds. I know I've repeated it, but I've repeated it over and over and over again on purpose because it's that important. So I hope that makes sense to you. I hope that resonates with you. I hope that's kind of brought up some new kind of thought patterns. And I would love to hear your feedback on that. Like, kind of what has this video done for you? What revelations or awakenings or whatever has it brought to you? Or what, you know, even if it's not that, even if you want to call bullshit on it, or if you want to say, yeah, but Dax, it's not that, or whatever it happens to be, please engage in this video. Talk to me. Let me know what's going through that gray matter of yours, and kind of what these thoughts and feelings are bringing up. In yesterday's video, remember, I told you how important it is to not just blindly accept, but also not say, I accept that, but just internalize it and not bring it out into the world, right? There's some really good neuroscientific reasons why discussion, why having your say on something, even if it is agreement, tell me why you agree with it, right? If you're in disagreement, tell me why you disagree with it. All of this helps you with the neuroassociative patterns, which are then going to aid to you kind of re-establishing newer and more stronger patterns of thought, patterns of habit, right? And what is a habit? Habit is a process.